All right, folks, good evening one more time. It's another Friday out here. And of course, from a little corner in southwest Nigeria, Lagos specifically, I am Citizen Jones welcoming you to another program of Journalist Hangout. Now, today on the show, the U.S. calls for peaceful, free, and transparent elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states, just as the police identify threats to the polls. APC State Chairmen demand sack of DG of Governors'Forum, accuse him of causing disaffection within the APC. And later on, we'll share this with you. Senate overrules customs, directs resumption of fuel supply to border towns. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Did I greet you?
I greet you.
Good evening.
Happy Friday.
To you, yeah. After the show, no, it's all right. To us too. Emeka Madunagu has joined us. I greet you, Emeka.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
Oh yeah.
Good evening.
TGIF, so the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, you know, one very sore point in our ragbag history is that 59 years after our supposed sovereignty, we still get told how to live our lives. My history books tell me that electioneering and elections in our country date back to 1959 when the precursor to the INEC, the then Electoral Commission of Nigeria, conducted the first general elections in our jurisdiction. Now, 50 years after, the process is still being messed up. Uncle Sam's country, that is the United States, has called for a free and fair election in the forthcoming governorship polls in Kogi and Bayelsa states. The Nigeria police has raised an alarm with hours to go to the polls. A security threat assessment of the two states point to bedlam. Jide is still like a recurring decimal. When will we leave the classroom?
Yes, you have this and more when you are dealing with desperate politicians. Desperate politicians do not think that they should lose an election. Desperate politicians, whether they are popular or not, they think that they ought to win an election. So they would rather rig than be defeated. They would rather kill people than watch the people not vote for them. So this is what we are facing. Election, a country cannot be deemed a democratic nation if it cannot conduct free and fair elections. And what do we mean by free? Free means that the voter who is qualified, the person who is qualified to vote, must be permitted to register and then vote for the candidate of his choice.
Without any encumbrances?
Yes. But a situation in which you are chasing people around with cutlasses, with guns, you go to places where you think your opponent is stronger, you go and disrupt polls in such places, that is not democracy. And no true nation can progress when the people cannot freely choose their leaders.
Okay.
Because it is when we make examples of bad leaders that others will come into office and then work for the people. You get the point that I'm making?
Yeah.
So every Nigerian, every sensible Nigerian should be concerned about the way elections get rigged in our country. Every sensible Nigerian should desire in his heart that we must get to that point when we can truly say that our elections are free and fair.
Jide, but there's an adjunct to that. It is said the people who cast the vote decide nothing. The people who collate and count decide everything.
Yeah.
We want to be, that is in countries where true democracy does not exist. Where true democracy exists, it is not the people who count the ballots that matter the most. It is the people
who cast
the ballots. Real power, sovereign power rests in the people, not in the people who count ballots. It is in countries where the democratic ideals are antediluvian, that you can say, oh, the people who matter are the people who count the ballots. No. A truly progressive country, the power resides in the people.
All right, let me give you a little break. Emeka, you're looking at Nigeria as a 59-year-old man. You are up to 59? No, look at the imagery. Look at the imagery. You tell a 59-year-old man what to do. At that point, all is lost. Or what do you think?
Well, there are areas where a 59-year-old man may not really be in a position to take certain decisions. So, I mean, imagine a 59-year-old man who is being fed by his wife, maybe for one reason or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you...
If he lost his job, if he lost his job or became...
Or his pensions, his pensions were stolen by government officials.
Okay.
And the wife is the one feeding him.
Circumstantial.
And the wife doesn't put herself under his control. You know what that means.
Make the man a country, 59-year-old country. What new things will you teach us politically?
Of course, the new thing is we should, I've said it again and again, and I'll say it again, we should remove the incentives from politics. Politics is supposed to be about service. But we know that all over the world, you know, politicians generally advance self-interest. But in Nigeria, we take this self-interest too seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, you saw what happened in Bayelsa 2 days ago. People were killed unjustly. An OB van driver shot dead. What for? Sometimes I wonder what runs in the minds of people who instigate such things. You just go and kill a poor man. Maybe his salary is just 30,000 or 20,000. You go and kill him. And the man has no job. He's not a candidate. He's not a contestant.
Probably not insured.
It's nothing. The man is just sit in the vehicle, drive the vehicle to where it's needed, and take it back to the office, and that's all. You kill the other time during the elections, the government house a photographer in Bayelsa State was shot dead by soldiers. Now you wonder, why has life become so cheap in Nigeria?
Hold on. At that point, are you tempted to think the soldier was on a mission, was sent?
Well, the soldiers claimed... I
mean, I'm looking at the soldier.
They claimed that they got information that ballots were being thumb-printed somewhere, and they went there. But the question was, okay, did you have to open fire? This guy was just armed with his
camera. Did you make any arrest? None.
Nothing. That's why I wonder. Our politicians are so desperate. It's a matter of life and death.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the interests of Nigerians, salaries are owed. They don't engage in life and death struggle to make sure people are paid. Pensions are owed. The roads are bad. You don't have power supply in this country. The hospitals don't have drugs. There are a lot of things begging for attention, but politicians don't apply a life and death situation to it. It's only about their interests, about their pockets.
Yeah.
And so we must do something drastic about electoral reforms. Otherwise, we're already 20 years into the Fourth Republic.
As if the laws are not there.
No, it's not about laws being there. It is about, like I said, you remove the incentive. First of all,
how do you remove the incentive?
The jumbo pay for political office holders needs to be cut off.
You must make laws to effect that. No. Let's stick with Bayelsa and Jide's former state. Now, let's leave his state.
Thank you for saying that.
No, former state. I agree. Now, the build-up, Jide, is so threatening. You are not sure what's happening next.
Yes, and you heard what former President Jonathan said, that the signs point to violence and plenty of violence. The signs emanating from those states are just not encouraging. And he talked about the killings in Nembe ahead of the election. So if you can kill people who came to campaign, what would you do on election day? You roast them. So this is the thing. And there is something that the president said, I think the law enforcement agents have to take seriously. And the law enforcement agents must not be seen to be partial in any way. The president said law enforcement officials must ensure that citizens are allowed to vote without harassment and intimidation, and any attempt to steal or hijack ballots must be stopped using all legal means. He didn't order
Them to be shot on
them to be
sight.
shot on sight.
Legal
this time.
means.
Yes, because of the way Nigerians
That's
reacted to what the president said at that time. So this time around, it's properly couched, said legal means. In any case, if someone who wants to snatch a ballot box
You arrest him.
constitute even a threat to security, if he's harmed and constitute any form of threat to security operatives and even the electorate, it can be gone down. But the president didn't put that in black and white this time. He just simply said through legal means. So that is for the
Justifiable
that is for the
level of force.
Law enforcers
that's for law enforcers to interpret and look at the scenario before deciding appropriate response. So clearly what has been happening in Kogi and Bayelsa leave more to be desired. We expected that they will resort to violence, the politicians over there and their friends who are assisting them. We knew that they will resort to violence, but I never thought it could be this bad.
Okay.
Because lives are already being lost in both states.
Before
Before even the main action has kicked off. So they're already killing people. Now, how will people feel comfortable to come out on election day?
Yeah.
There are people dressed as policemen who are not policemen. Because politicians sew army uniforms for their supporters.
All sorts of uniforms.
Yes, so army uniforms. You know, people
and-
fear the army a lot. So when
yeah.
you say so, they fear the army more than they fear the police. So army uniform and then police uniform, and some of them will be hooded,
Yeah.
going around harassing people.
Yeah.
Where they think that they may not be able to win an election, they go there to beat people up. So how will people want to come out and freely exercise their franchise
Emeka,
when the threat of being killed is there?
each time Uncle Sam's country wakes up, expresses a concern about elections in our country, are you looking at Uncle Sam's interest or our interest or a collective interest?
No, it should be both ways because Nigeria's democracy should not fail. Every friend of Nigeria in the international community should make sure that this democracy doesn't fail, because implications for Africa will be dire. And I beyond the statement, I commend the U.S. government. Beyond the statement, the U.S. government should come out right now and implement a total visa ban for politicians who have been who have made incendiary remarks, whether in the concern this election or in the past. Ban them, ban their families, close their accounts, and prevent them from traveling. Not just the U.S., Europe, the European Union, the EU and the United States should place a total visa ban on them. Should make sure it closes their
the
accounts.
Middle East.
So
Their new haven is the Middle East.
yeah, but you see, even at that, if the U.S. wants to mess them up, it's very
They'll
easy.
work with
you
their
know?
allies now.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's very easy
with their allies.
to stop them. Even if they land in Dubai, for instance, they can be asked to leave. They can be kicked out. They can be denied entry. You know, the United States should lead the way. I mean, look at what is happening to Donald Trump. Look at the impeachment proceedings. It shows that strong institutions are needed to make democracy work, not strong men. So if the international
To
community,
put strong men and their women in check.
of course. That's why we must build strong institutions. That's why INEC must really answer that name, independent. I wonder what that name, independent, is doing there, because if at a function, the signing of a peace pact, policemen could fire tear gas at a peace pact where the chairman of INEC and the Inspector General of Police were seated, then what are we talking about? And then a candidate, a governorship candidate, said she was pushed down. She was prevented from entering the hall. And at the end of the day, you signed a peace pact where somebody was excluded from the signing. What we must build institutions. We must find a way to make INEC truly independent. Whoever heads INEC must be somebody who is above board, like Caesar's wife must be seen to be above board, and somebody
except
who,
Emeka,
even at the risk of death, will deliver on the electoral mandate, on the mandate given to him or her.
But Emeka, quickly, our checkered history tells us that the referee, in this case the INEC, is always the whipping boy, even when the politicians are those who foment this wahala.
Yes, you see, INEC is a strong institution. The success or failure of this democracy rests on INEC. And INEC must be innovative because Nigerian politicians are criminally devious, very innovative. You say, okay, you are going to post 10,000 policemen. They've already worked out how to make sure that those policemen cannot stop them from snatching ballot boxes, from thumb printing, from killing people. So what it means is that INEC must be innovative. INEC must think ahead of Nigerian politicians and make sure that it cleans up the political process. You know, each election should be a lesson. 20 years down the line, INEC by now ought to have developed processes to make elections at least up to, even if it's 70 or 80%, foolproof. INEC should do that. It is a duty INEC owes this nation.
Jide, let's be a little fair on INEC. Without, this is not prejudicing some of the pitfalls. In Zamfara, in the build-up to this election in Zamfara, INEC applied flipped the red card.
Yes.
So also in Rivers State.
Yes, INEC did the right thing. Because clearly they didn't do primaries. There were three different groups within the APC contesting against one another for the soul of the party. And at the end of the day, they couldn't come together to organize a proper primary election. And INEC did not just discover that. The contending groups were the ones reporting to INEC that, look, this didn't happen. Remember when Oshiomhole claimed that, we actually did consensus. It was the two groups, the governor's group and Kabiru Marafa's group, told INEC that, no, there was no consensus. And Oshiomhole claimed that the consensus was held in an hotel in Gusau. They said, no, there was none.
Don't break my poor heart. Okay, quickly, Tunji has joined us. He's reaching us here in Lagos. Tunji, good evening to you. Welcome.
Me?
Yeah, let's go, Tunji.
Please, my contribution is basically on the Kogi State election. It is crystal clear that it is full of violence.
Please, when you get through, just kill the audio on your TV. It helps but the man has made his point. But what I was going to say, in the build-up to the Bayelsa, for instance, INEC was going to flash a yellow card by saying initially APC will not go. But there has been a development.
Yes, INEC will wait for the last court order and would, through its lawyers, analyze whether that court was permitted by law to set aside another, taken by another court, or even stay action on another or a judgment by another court. So it will wait. If no court vacates an order by a court stopping a candidate from contesting, INEC will go ahead and ensure that that candidate is not on the ballot. Or if it is too late to remove that candidate from the ballot, whatever votes go to that candidate
will be valid.
Will be invalid.
Or invalid.
Invalid. Null and void.
Yeah.
So this is the position of INEC. They will wait for the last court order. And as you have seen, the two political parties are on top of their game in this area. For example...
You mean the two leading?
Yeah, the two leading political parties. For example, the APC knew that judgment in the matter instituted by Lokobri, Heineken Lokobri, will come 2 days to the election.
Yeah.
So they must have prepared. They must have made up their mind what court to go.
Okay.
They must have made up their mind what court to go. So that it's not at that point that you start shopping for a court. Before you know it, time will be, run out against you, and if you are not careful, you won't have a candidate. Now, that has happened. The two decisions, the decision disqualifying the deputy governorship candidate of the APC in Bayelsa State, they've succeeded in getting a stay of execution in that respect. That was the first one. The second one, the decision rendering the primaries that produced David Leon, that some of them like to call Lion, but it's actually Leon. David Leon has also, that decision has also been stayed. So it's after the election that the courts, the courts will sit on these matters.
That's it.
Yes.
And then we can then determine whether. But for now, the APC will be on the ballot. APC will contest, and then the PDP. There was a rumor this afternoon that Timi Alaibe had succeeded
in getting
getting the courts to cancel the primaries of the PDP. And then some of my friends were saying, Jide, you people must discuss this today. After all, you discussed that of APC the other day. But we don't simply discuss. We have to find out if that thing is true or not.
Obviously, the facts
Obviously, it was a wide rumor.
Oh, yeah.
So the PDP as well, contrary to the wish of their political opponents, would be on the ballot as well.
Do you know, this is some of the theatrics for which politicians are known.
No, even if they limit it to this, I'm happy. But to simply begin to kill people is what I can't stand.
Luca has been waiting in Gombe, but he is here now. We're sorry we kept you. Luca, let's go.
Yeah, good evening.
I greet you, sir.
Luca.
Yeah, you are on.
Yeah, good evening. I really commend you people for a wonderful job doing over there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Babajide, we are still looking on to you to prophesize what will come out from Kogi and Bayelsa.
There's a court order on that.
There's a stay of execution.
Okay, then. Yeah, Luca.
Sure, Bayelsa and Kogi.
There is a court decision banning me from predicting.
Okay, come on. I thought, all right. Emeka, we must always talk about it. We are told that's for the Fourth Republic. The experiment is 20 years on, and we are still in the classroom. It's a learning process. When will we graduate to another class?
Yeah, possibly if the 1966 school had not taken place, maybe by now, we would have our democratic system would have matured sufficiently enough. But of course, we're on the road. There has been remarkable, progress.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, there have been. We must acknowledge that, and but we must continue to do our best to build strong institutions. I mean, the kind of story that came out from Lokoja, that some armed men tried to get into the hotel where the Oyo State governor is. Things like that should not be. Things like that. So desperation should, because no matter how you try, it's just one term, 4 years, second term, 4 years, and then soon you'll be gone. So all the lives.
You'll be an IPG,
all the lives,
immediate past governor.
All the lives lost, all the structures destroyed. That's why I keep saying we must build strong institutions.
All right.
Politics, we must remove a lot of incentives in politics because it's affecting the economy.
Okay, then we'll apply the brakes here. Well, the debate will continue. The elections in Kogi and Bayelsa are less than 12 hours away, a lot less than that. But we appeal to the police, the law enforcement agents. Remember, there are no desperate situations. There are only desperate men and women. Okay, then. Still to come, APC State Chairmen demand sack of the Director General of the Governors'Forum, accuse him of causing disaffection within the APC. You want to stay on, please. All right, then, make no mistake about this. The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, has fire on its roof. And if there's an enemy, then the enemy must be in the room. What do I mean? The forum of the APC State Chairmen on Thursday, while expressing support for the party's national chairman, Oshiomhole, called for the immediate sack of the Director General, Progressive Governors'Forum, Salihu Lukman. To them, the DG is an agent of destabilization. Lukman had called on Oshiomhole to convene the NEC, National Executive Committee meeting of the party, or resign. As a ruling party, the action smacks of self-immolation, Jide.
Yes, but it is not irredeemable. If people will jump in quickly or get the firefighters to to do their job. So the man trying to actually take his own life through self-immolation may be saved at the end of the day. I believe that the Tunisian man who did that and actually triggered what later came to be known as the Arab Spring, if they had moved quickly, they would have rescued him, you know. So if the APC moves quickly...
And history wouldn't have been made.
Yes, history wouldn't have been made. There would have been no Tahrir Square. There would have been no Morsi, you know. But I'm saying that APC can still save itself. And we are seeing signs that that can happen. Oshiomhole still has sufficient gravitas to remain the chairman of the party. He still has support of key elements within the party. And the last few days have shown us that, because some of the power people are showing support to the national chairman. They are trying to let us know that, look, this situation has not reached an irredeemable level. So he appears to be largely in charge. I won't say totally in charge, but he appears to be largely in charge of the organs of the party.
Of fighting the fire.
Of the organs of the party, because he needs the support base he needs that support base to keep himself in office, you know. So it is clear that the governors did not come together to deliberate on Salihu Lukman's letter. Salihu Lukman just sat down on his own and generated this letter. And what he did is he wrong-footed a lot of us, because he presented it like this was the position
of the
Governors'Forum.
That's it. Was his own position.
Whereas it was his position. This is how, I mean, this is very embarrassing. Because when we sit here and we are analyzing, we are saying this is the way governors will react, this is the way governors do things, whereas it's just an individual who sat down, probably in Kaduna or somewhere, and then on his own just wrote what he wrote.
So one can simply say desperate situations we see are man-made, deliberate, willful.
No, yes, in some cases, not in all cases.
No to achieve a particular goal.
Yes, he said that, okay, that he was worried about what was going on in the party. But the party has organs
and levers of...
by which these issues could be addressed. Yes, it's not something to rejoice about that they've not been having NEC meetings, that even the board of trustees, you know, is really not there. It's not something to rejoice about. But you can't, as an individual, sit down and use such intemperate language on the national chairman of your party, and then couch it like it was the governors, like the governors came together
it was a unilateral decision.
It made it look like a unanimous decision of the governors to speak in that manner to the national chairman, whereas it was his opinion. So he could easily have expressed his opinion without wrong-footing the rest of us and making us think that, these governors are gunning for the chairman. But you see now, in the Southwest, for example, Oshiomhole has 3 governors that he can be sure of are on his side. And some of the aides of those governors are now talking, saying, no, there's no doubt about it, we are with the chairman on this. And we are seeing other organs of the party coming out, and people diminishing the press release that Saliu Lukman issued and saying, look, we are behind the chairman. This is it for now, and that should make Oshiomhole heave a sigh of relief, because he needs those organs, those powerful organs of the party behind him. Yeah. Otherwise, when you walk into a storm, you may not come back in one piece.
Especially if you can't swim. Emeka, again, we talk about our collective experience as a people, as a polity. Politicians, when they are upping the ante, they don't look back.
Of course, that's what politics primarily is all about, self-interest. But like I say, it doesn't have to take lives. You don't have to destroy, you don't have to burn people's houses. You don't have to kill people. You don't have to conduct yourself in a lawless, in a lawless manner. But I also think that what Saliu Lukman was saying was not totally wide of the mark. Certain governors must have, inspired him. Let me use that word. I don't want to say instigated him to do it, because when you go through the piece, you see, he said APC and our inconceivable organizational challenges, urgent call to our leaders. So he wasn't just talking to Oshiomhole, he was going beyond him, and indirectly talking to the president, talking to President Muhammadu Buhari. The NEC has not met, the National Caucus has not met for a long time. Even the NWC says the shadow of himself. In fact, basically he said Oshiomhole is running a one-man show. And then there are offices to be filled, Deputy National Chairman, and some other offices to be filled. And then he talked about the infighting within the APC. Look at what happened in Zamfara, look at what happened in Rivers. He now said, okay, that the same thing may happen in Ondo and in Anambra. So definitely
he should couch it as his own opinion.
Yeah, but if you look at the point, there's a sentence. I think the way it was released, was what caught journalists, on the wrong foot. Because if you go to some places, there are some places where he said I. Where he said I, this and,
in unguarded moments.
Yes. Where he said, and so it is, you find out that definitely he took it this way and that way. But again, of course, like, I want to believe that definitely some people, some forces were.
It certainly had not reached the point when governors will say, Oshiomhole, call a meeting or resign. Everyone knows that you cannot call a NEC meeting when the president is not in attendance.
No, I'm talking of openly, doing it openly, but he couldn't have just put this letter together on his own.
Emeka's position is the medium is the message. But Jide is saying the message should not have come in a manner that makes you think it's a unanimous thing.
Of course.
It is your personal position.
It's not a unanimous position of the governors.
That's it.
No, it's not. No, of course,
it's not even the opinion of the governors.
No, it's not.
When push came to shove, he then came out to say, yes, I did it alone. It is my opinion, this and that. And that's why people are piling. It's not as if that it had not made sense. We have to get that one clear. There are the point that he's making to a large extent, it made sense. The party ought to meet regularly. They need to have an effective conflict resolution mechanism. They need to fill vacancies that have been created either by people becoming governors or people becoming ministers and all that. Valid point. But you can't couch it like this is the feeling of the governors, especially where you are saying, either he calls a meeting or he should resign. It has not reached the point when you can tell the chairman to resign. The chairman has not excellently run the party. You get the point. But he has redeeming features. And you can't now at this stage simply say that, oh, that he should resign. Of course, people will argue that...
It sends wrong messages down the line.
Yes, and now we felt that the governors were baying for blood. You understand? This was the feeling that we had, that the governors were baying for blood. But in the recent, it was Saliu Lukman baying for blood, not the governors.
Okay. Ambrose has joined us from Lagos. Ambrose, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yeah, how are you doing, Babajide?
Well,
okay.
fine. Well, fine.
Okay, we are waiting for your prediction about Kogi.
Do a little something for us. Kill the audio on your TV, please. It helps us here. Please.
Prediction.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
If you keep it that way, yeah.
You know what, Ambrose?
Yeah, okay.
You know why I don't want to make prediction? I'm not convinced that the election will be free and fair in both states.
Okay.
Where I'm confident that an election will be free and fair, I can tell you who will win and who will lose. And that is exactly what will happen. You will get the point that I'm making on election day. Politicians, what they are doing to themselves, they are killing one another. If it's not a free and fair election, I can only come and predict where I'm certain that the election will be free and fair. They won't be killing one another. They won't be chasing people away on election day. Where I cannot have that guarantee, I don't have to make a prediction because I will look stupid.
We are more than 1,000 watching you so that you can predict.
All right. Wait. My prediction is that there'll be elections in Bayelsa and Kogi tomorrow. Kogi how about that?
And
Thank you.
Both the APC and PDP will be on the ballot.
And another party.
That's a prediction.
Okay then. But Emeka, you know, it's a matter for deep regret. As we said at the beginning, 59 years after countryhood, we still are learning the ropes. It makes me sad.
We are late learners.
Oh, late learners.
You know, some people are late learners. So Nigeria.
Okay, they are like Lister engine.
No, Nigeria are late learners.
Hard to start and difficult to stop.
But
once
we get it right.
But what do you say about?
Once we get it right.
What do you say about Liberia?
We'll stay there.
What do you say about Ethiopia?
No. These are smaller.
Well, I knew you were going to.
Good. So tease me, no problem.
They are smaller countries, but
if we have played the big brother role for too long, for too long, and now we are beating a retreat.
Yeah, which is a fact.
We're beating a retreat.
You'll be playing big brother out there, but back home, you don't even have a bed to lay on. But you've been providing beds and mattresses and pillows for other people. And look at what has happened to us. Our economy has been taking a beating from different, points. We've not developed democracy here, but we've been to different countries, helped them to stabilize their democracy.
Your policemen will win awards outside of here.
We paid salaries of civil servants in some countries, but we're owing civil servants in Nigeria, and all kinds of things. You see, we need to
physician, heal thyself.
Very correct. We need to have a rethink about our nation, about our polity. We need to develop this nation. Let it work for Nigerians. All this big brother talk, big brother talk, big brother. Where is it taking us? What has it really achieved for us?
As a matter of fact, Jide will recall this. The late Chief Jeremiah of Bafemi Awolowo said, the children of the poor ones you have refused to train today will haunt your children tomorrow.
Yes.
We're almost getting there.
Of course, when you look at Boko Haram, you can see that it has not been difficult for them to recruit their cadres because they can find unemployed youths up and down. And they offer them good money. Those guys will join them and then fight on the side of Boko Haram. When government fails to reach people in remote parts of our country, and these guys come with their own ideas, and promise heaven and earth. They say, look, we are going to take better care of you than your government. Of course, a lot of them will want to fight on the side of Boko Haram. So we need to do a lot, educate our young people.
Don't the children of our rich men and women not feel worried?
What is the business of the children? With,
Okay, ask me.
Yeah? Just the
What is their
business of the
business?
children.
Okay.
Their own children, their own is just to enjoy life.
Make them come
they
back
didn't
now.
create the
Make
problem.
them come back now.
They didn't,
They
are
no
they
go
not
come
coming?
back.
When they come back, what thing will go do to
They are
them?
put in
When they
juicy
come back, they are
jobs.
the ones who get the better jobs.
They get better jobs in very good places.
Those parents secure the future of their children. They don't just send them to those schools. Let them come back. You see where they'll put them.
Let them come back. If you like, say I'm inciting. Let them come back. Let them come back.
They are coming
They are
back.
coming back.
They are coming back.
You
When
are
they
not
come
aware
back,
that
tell me.
a lot
tell
of
me.
them are
Oh,
back.
a lot of them are
Okay,
back.
okay.
A lot of them are back.
Oh, really?
It's you that
So
doesn't
you
know.
people know.
They are back.
A lot of them are back and in very
They
juicy
are back.
positions.
Yes, now.
No, but let's.
Jobs at CBN, jobs at
No
customs,
problem.
all those places.
No problem.
You know?
You know, the man will always say, it's a tragedy to eat 5 naira food and go and excrete 100 naira excreta. Then go say, which kind of food will you chop?
Yeah, that's why we must now begin to look inwards.
Uh-huh.
We must find ways to make Nigeria work for Nigerians. The Big Brother role, we need to reappraise that Big Brother role. Where has it led us? Where are we today? What kind of country do we really want?
Yeah.
What kind of country are we running? Is it a country where anybody can just stroll across the borders, go to and just go and pick a national identity card? And Nigerians find it hard to pick a national identity card. Somebody can just stroll across the borders and do anything. We must
and come back
We
home.
must look at our nationhood. Look at our nation. What do we really mean when we talk about Nigeria and being a Nigerian? What does it really mean?
We must send you to the National Assembly in 2023.
No, I don't need to.
It's all right. Okay.
No, we'll start another constitutional conference.
All right, folks. Let's get serious. You know, we played this Big Brother role for so long, for too long. We're becoming a laughing stock.
The laughing stock.
I think enough is already too much. Do we have a Nigerian dream? I'm wondering. Now, expectedly, you know, the closure of Nigeria's borders was going to have ripple effects. There's no doubt about that. Customs boss, retired Colonel Hamid Ali, had directed a suspension of petroleum products supply to fuel stations within 20 kilometers of our border to checkmate smuggling, and the result is a scarcity with an attendant suffering and privation by residents along the border communities. Now, the Nigerian Senate has called for a steady supply of refined products to ease the pain. Senator Tolulokpe Odebiyi Ogun West had argued that while the idea of a border closure was salutary, it lacked a sustainable framework to ensure proper coordination. Did I get him right?
Yes.
Makes sense to you too?
It makes sense. It makes sense. I also do not agree that you should make Nigerians suffer by not supplying people living in border communities with petrol. Yes, when you look at a town like Idiroko, you can look at the population of the residents vis-a-vis the number of filling stations that are there. Of course, there are far too many filling stations there than the people need. So our neighbors...
Aren't you suspicious?
Yeah, no, I'm getting somewhere. Our neighbors do not enjoy fuel subsidy from their countries. We enjoy fuel subsidy. So when you bring the 33,000 liters of petrol and dump in the underground tank of a filling station, in a jiffy, all of that is siphoned to a neighboring country. And of course, the people involved in this kind of smuggling make tons of cash because petrol is still cheap in our country because of the subsidy. When you compare how much is sold here to how much is sold across the border.
Yeah, and it is sold in bottles. Would you believe it?
It's sold in bottles now because there is pressure on them. So, but in the past, you could, these people, you know what they call, is it tank bottom, or what do customs people call them? Your car has the capacity for a 50-liter tank.
Okay.
But they will go and expand it to 100 liters because all they do is just fill the tank in the
go
Diroko
empty.
and then go across the border to sell it to these people and make good money. But if we are saying 20 kilometers to a border post that you must not sell petrol, then you look at a place like Daura, the hometown of the president, because it's very close to the border with Niger. I think the last town is Meyadua. So from Meyadua, it's a trekking distance. In fact, it's a spitting distance to...
but 20, over 20 meters or so, or something. That's what I heard.
Is it 20 meters?
Meters to the border.
No.
You mean 20 kilometers from the border?
Kilometers, rather.
20 kilometers.
Kilometers,
20
not
kilometers.
meters, yeah.
So the Daura to Meyadua is about 13 kilometers. So it means that you will not supply fuel to, and it's a sprawling community, it's a big community. Daura is a big community, one of the oldest communities in the north. So what do the people now use? People who have gone to those border communities, they've said the people are suffering. That's why the senator said, no, we cannot implement this. I understand the points, I mean, the idea behind this. Yeah. We are subsidizing far more liters of petrol than we need to subsidize, because a lot of it is actually subsidizing smuggling.
That's it.
But if we can find a way to streamline things, to ensure that our people do not suffer, provide just what our people need, and block avenues through which smuggling happens, then I'll be happy. But don't just simply say, no, 20 kilometers to this thing to the border, no petrol. What will they use? Won't they move around? Are there not government establishments in those places? Won't they function? Won't people move from one point to another? So this is the pain. It's the pain that this inflicts on our people that those senators are worried about, and they said, no, this has to be addressed. So customs will have to think of, no, it's not as if it is wrong to close the border as we have done, because we are seeing the gains already.
Okay.
You know, customs, I think they even hit their target more than a month ago.
They said so.
So it's surplus now that they are experiencing.
Emeka, it's in nature with us to seek advice after our minds are made up. That's what is playing out. No, if you decided the borders must be closed, there should have been, this subject, things like this should have been broached. Look, what if this happens, if that happens? Now we're here.
Yeah, of course, when the borders were closed, I mean, some of us expressed the worry that you couldn't just close the borders because you wanted to prevent the smuggling of just 2 items, rice and cars. I mean, that's like reducing the giving just two items.
No, not
so much.
Emeka,
banditry.
There's so many.
Even poultry products. Poultry products is one of the things that we smuggle the most.
Now, the issue is this for me. Instead of just banning, I feel our border areas, we should make better use of our border areas. How? If we can have like free trade zones around our border areas, so that we take some manufacturing to our border areas. We now turn our border areas in such a way that we turn it inversely against those who smuggle these things in. When they're trying to bring this, they'll find out that what is coming from Nigeria, our exports, we double our exports or triple our exports in such a way that what comes from Nigeria overwhelms what they try to bring in. And so,
no,
the incentive
we don't produce
for
those
smuggling. No, that's what I'm talking about.
We don't produce those things.
But nothing stops us from doing those things.
Yeah, Emeka, but we are saying the borders had been porous for moons and moons and moons. Yeah, something had to be done.
We can use some of these borders as a test, like semi-border. We can use semi-border to achieve certain objectives, so that it is not just about, okay, you need to get 2 million customs men or 2 million soldiers and line them around the borders. Are there certain economic measures we can take to counter the smuggling so that we don't remain perpetually at the mercy of smugglers? We don't just keep crying at borders across and all that.
Emeka, the problem is we were at the mercy of our neighbors. Not simply.
How do we counter it?
Not simply at the mercy of smugglers.
Closing the borders.
Our neighbors.
You start from
let's
start from somewhere.
Our neighbors
We're always starting from somewhere.
See now, hold on. Our neighbors were feeding facts of us. A long time ago, no more than 6 months ago, I talked about Benin Republic, a country of 16 million, suddenly becoming the #2 importer of rice from Thailand.
On the planet.
How did they get to that point? All of the rice,
and the rice is not
the
for
bulk
them.
of the rice end up here.
No.
But they will have collected duty on
At
it
the ports.
At the port. Then, as they are bringing it through Niger Republic,
denying us
the
that.
Nigerians too will collect
Their own.
their own. We that this thing ends up at our door, we do not get anything. Now the government is saying, look, if they are not saying no, these items can't come in from your country, but they are saying that when they are coming in, they must be escorted into Nigeria by officials of
Bring
those
them through
countries.
the front door, Emeka.
So
no
when,
for backyard.
and then
But
everyone
we
knows
also
that.
reform our ports.
Everyone knows that.
Yes.
Okay, then we then get 30%.
Yes.
You can, we have the market. We have the market. But for people, for Nigerians and Beninese people to be the ones making money where we ought to make money, then it is wrong. We don't get anything when they dump this thing on us. That was why the Emir of Kano was saying that, look, with the kind of neighbors that we have, that we cannot achieve economic prosperity.
You can never expect your neighbors to be benevolent neighbors. That is it. That is my own argument.
Okay, now,
what are we doing? What are we doing? We
Emeka,
must
so you must allow the free reign.
No. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we must realign our economic policies in such a way that we pursue Nigeria first policies, Nigeria first interest.
That's what we are doing
be
now.
at the mercy.
That's what we are doing with this.
No, what I'm saying, we cannot. The borders cannot remain closed indefinitely.
Nobody's
Beyond the
saying
closure
that.
of the borders, what is a sustainable framework? Like that senator was saying.
That is what they are
over
working,
5 years.
They are working with the governments of both countries. We are sitting down. Do you know, as we speak now, Niger Republic has banned exportation of rice to Nigeria because they can see that is the source of the problem. Now, what they need to do is come together. We are not saying that we will close the borders forever, but before we can open these borders, we will get guarantees from these two countries. Everybody can talk about ECOWAS, this, ECOWAS, that. No, ECOWAS does not say you should sabotage the economy of another country.
That's not even what I'm
now,
talking about.
we now extract commitment from them.
The backroom boys say make we close our borders.
No,
here.
but
No,
our ports,
okay, no.
our ports, we must
When we
reform
get,
our
if we
ports.
don't get commitment from them that they will change their evil ways,
Let the borders
will
remain
remain.
that.
They
All
cannot
right.
change any voice. They must
Emeka,
Okay.
for now,
no, be
no
then they
go-
suffer now.
no
Are they
go
not the
near-
ones begging?
Emeka no go near border because me, I know they go near the border.
I'm not a border
Well,
business.
that will just about do it. Gentlemen, do you know it's 40 days to Christmas? It just occurred to me.
Yeah.
And we are talking border.
And the
close,
price
border-
of rice,
border
and the
open
price
and
of
so.
rice, local rice is going up.
Yeah, good for us.
Because demand
But
is high.
good,
Good for the planters.
good for the farmer.
Good for the planters.
Yeah,
What has stopped us all this while?
Emeka, something
We
will
don't
happen.
start, oh. We
All
don't
right,
start.
we want
Let's
to.
sustain it.
Emeka
China did it,
Madunagu,
we too
thank
will
you for
do it.
coming. Oh, Babajide, no forget to monitor election near your former state because I'm interested.
I'm not
Bayelsa,
interested.
Bayelsa are my next door neighbor.
See your cap look like they are old.
Okay, then that's it on our program for the evening and for the week. Please enjoy your weekend. But if you missed this, the program is also available on other platforms. We'll show you on the screen. And on YouTube at youtube.com, TVC News/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.